Welcome back. We now have the Gladiators up against the Mayhem. Mayhem looking solid around that 4th place to 5th place, depending on how they do today. Seed coming into the Countdown Cup hex. But the Gladiators, they've been up and down, like severely up and down. Feels like they're getting rolled by a fair few teams. They did have a very nice game, a nice series against the Philadelphia Fusion that went all the way to 5 maps the other day. But can they perform the same way against the Florida Mayhem, who are below the Fusion currently, and I think in everybody's power rankings?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right word to describe the Florida Mayhem as solid, right? There's great teams, there's bad teams, but Florida's solid, and they've not really moved in my rankings so much. 4 is exactly where they belong. They would have to lose 2 maps to lose this 4 seed. Of course, 4 seed is where you want to be. They can't catch up to any of the guys ahead of them. So Gladiators, a tough road ahead of them. Gladiators have been running interesting stuff. Mir had come in and played some Zarya for this squad, but now with all hero pools open, then all bets are off, so to speak, for Gladiators. And I think, you know, OG Winston might be his best hero, Jack.
Yeah, I think so. Orissa's pretty solid, but you definitely get the feeling that OG wants to play Winston. He tweets about it a whole bunch. He just wants to play the Winston character. I think a lot of main tanks at this point do, wouldn't be too surprised. And with the hero pools from the last couple of weeks, you could play Winston with Zarya, which is, like you just said, what we saw. We saw Mira coming in from a DPS role onto the Zarya, as he did play that in Ghost, and played it alongside OG's Winston. However, looking at their team fight stats, Hex, it's like, okay, are they going to want to put all their eggs in the OG basket and play this Winston? I don't think they will, because Winston in general is just not great into Orisa. It's really heavily punished unless you're playing a map like Watchpoint Gibraltar or Numbani first. It's a very situational pick at this point. That you can see with the Winston there, 52%, not too bad. 4th in league currently. With the Orisa, 48, like below 50%. Yeah, it's not looking good when they do run that, and it just comes down to personal preference and the level of skill that you have to play the Orisa to currently, because she is perma-picked.
Well, Winston wants to be up close and personal, and going onto an Orisa like that is not great, because you get halted back, there goes your mobility, and then you're just getting headshot by the, plasma cannon? Fusion gun? I don't know what it's called. Anyway, here are your Gladiators starter 6. Mir is going to be playing DPS. He was playing the Zarya for this team recently. Birdring will help him out. OG and Space, probably the strongest part of this team is their tank line, and the good old standbys and Big Goose and Shaz will be rounding out the supports. So with Space in, you would have to imagine some Sigma play. He's their best Sigma player on the team, so Sigma Orisa very likely going to be the order of the day. If they wanted to run a Winston dive with a Zarya, which is better than the D.Va right now, D.Va's not great in the meta, then you would have to imagine that Mir would be running that other tank spot, although Space is a very capable Zarya. We shall see what they want to run, but all inclinations would be that they are going to run a Sigma Orisa composition on their tank line.
Yeah, let's have a look who Florida Mayhem have on their starting 6. It's a BQB, it's a Yaki, a sprinkling of Fate and Gargoyle, Byram and Gangnam Jin in the support role. Gargoyle has just been spectacular this season. Yep. His Sigma is just one of the best in the league, I'd say, hands down. And going up against Space No G, their tank line just looks almost impenetrable. And a lot of the times, especially when it comes to Flux and the timings of those ults, it's almost like, you know, I don't want to say it, but like MTD, like just I think the tank line difference in general, the Gladiators are going to have a hard battle in this series, and they need to be able to win this, I think, to restore a lot of confidence.
As the weeks have gone on, it seems like everyone on Florida has had their coronation, as it were. Like, early in the year, we're like, Gargoyle is sick, Gangnam Jin is sick, and then we're like, who's this Yaki guy? And then BQB comes out. Fate has been rock solid, kind of a redemption year for Fate, and then Byram comes in instead of Chris, so maybe not going to run as much. Well, I don't think they're going to run Lucio, which Chris would play, or the Brigida, which Chris played a lot early on. Maybe they just feel more comfortable with Byram. All that said and done, let's kick it off. We're going to go to Lijiang Tower, where all bets are off as far as compositions go.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially when we get to Command Center or Control Center.
Well, I mean, even Night Market, though. You see some Sim on Night Market. You see Ball here. You see a lot of interesting stuff on Control overall. It used to just be those outlier maps, like Sanctum and Control Center, where this stage is different than the other stages, so we play different stuff. But really, Control lately across the board, just been kind of wonky. It's been fun.
Yeah, and like Well too. Well historically is like, oh, just Orisa Hog, because Hog can just play around the well pretty
pull people into the hole.
Yeah, just do it, man. Do it. I want some more environmentals, please.
Junkrat. Got Junkrat, Jaws. Junkrat alert.
We'll see. I hate calling the comp so early, man. It's got 15 seconds. But it's very possible. I mean, at the end of the day, the Junkrat is been played a lot more than I thought it would. But it, again, is very map dependent. You do have to rely on an Ashe, a Tracer, a Genji really to get stuff done in this meta. Looks like Mira's going to be jumping onto the Genji. Birdring's going to TP people forward and potentially stay on it. But I doubt it because they've used the TP already.
Tracer,
so it's going to be the Tracer versus Ashe. BQB versus Birdring here.
Yeah, and you can kind of figure out that that was going to happen based on Birdring being the one to teleport, because usually you'd want your mobile gear to do that. I
was like, Birdring versus BQB, the battle of the summer, as BQB just instantly headshots Birdring and they win the fight.
Okay, so radically different support lines as well. Florida is going to run the Zenyatta, I'm sure it warms your cold heart, and the Baptiste. Meanwhile, the Gladiators going the Ana and Brigitte route, but very likely just to try to enable their Genji as much as possible.
Two BQBs just chasing the flankers around the map. Oh, goodbye, OG. Birdring's going to follow him. Very, yeah, like you said, very different support lines here. Clearly in the Nano, obviously, for the Blade, and OG dies. That? I don't know what that was. That was an attempted one-click by Birdring onto Byron, but yeah, Gangnam Jim just right-clicked on the floor. You saved him. That was interesting. Obviously, the OG play there, I think, was roll through the shield and push the Orisa or somebody past the shield so the rest of the team can jump on them, because their comp really is about dive. I mean, you want to bubble the person that's going to go in, and then OG or Mira or Birdring ends up picking up a kill, but look how far up Mayhem are playing. Good luck diving people in this small corridor here. This double shield plus Gangnam Jim and Byron to keep people up, yeah, it's going to be hard to crack.
Alright, well now we enter the ultimate phase of the game, and Florida could actually just put the window right on the doorway here and completely negate any sort of entrance, at least buy themselves some time while they get to their damage-dealing ultimates. The closest ultimate up for the Gladiators outside of Nano is going to be Birdring, but Mir only at 54%, and this composition is largely predicated on a Nano Blade, so they got some time that they really have to get this Blade up quick.
Nice kill onto Yaki though. This is extremely good start. Yeah, BQB also falls apart, and this is where the comp really comes into its own. The Gladiators picking up these small kills here and there. They just need to stall though, to be fair, with you Hex. I mean, they don't really need to use anything. There's going to be a Nano. Oh, Mira! Oh, but he gets rocked! Can he get back up? I don't think he can! He gets rocked as he gets nanoed off the... Oh my word! Mira looked so sad. He tried his hardest to climb back on, but he'd already used the climb, so he ends up falling to his death. What a perfect rock from Gargoyle. Look how many ults they have as well coming back into this next fight. Gladiators control the point for the time being, though.
Yeah, Gladiators are going to have a space-controlling ultimate, though, in the Graviton Surge, and Grav and Blade can work really well. Of course, Nano down, but Shaq's already at 50% again. Florida going to be pushing in with 5 ultimates. Well, the rally comes out preemptively from the Gladiators, and I think Florida's just going to sit this one out for a second.
Yeah, I kind of like this. Oh, maybe not. Mira gets halted inward. He had a little bit of armor on him, but not enough. I think just the impact damage of the bomb there actually killed him off. Yaki does end up going down after using the Blade, but with this rally, with this Transcendence, from the Mayhem, they were able to survive the grab, and now they can just move on to point. Gladiators relying on the Blade from Mira. Potentially the Nano 2 is 10% away, but with Big Goose getting going down and actually Byron falling here too, this is still a very good look for the Gladiators. OG comes back with some vengeance, booping off BQB as well. No Blade needed by the looks of it. Gladiators regain control of the point. They're 60% in building now.
And knocking off Byram there. I've never understood why Genji dies to gravity effects. He floats. Shouldn't he just kind of rubber band when he hits the ground? Inconsistent lore is what I'm saying. Inconsistent lore.
Whatever he really cares about, that exact topic. Inconsistency of lore.
Yes,
OG,
nice
look at this move.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was so good from OG.
Well, we're entering last fight here now. It's really the next fight is going to win this round of Lijiang Tower. Gargoyle has been a difference maker for this squad.
Nano Blade, Immortality Build already been used, and Mira gets instantly killed. Oh, they didn't even have the Transcendence, but Birdring manages to catch the supports unawares. Oh, Gangnam Jin just trying to 1v6 with the window, kill space, but they're going to be able to get back onto the point. Mayhem may have found the flip, but it is all Gladiators right now. They even use the mines as well to make sure it's harder for Mayhem to get back onto the point. OG boots them away. And what looks a very winnable point for Mayhem. Gladiators managed to bring it back. I spoke about the tank difference in the pre-ramble. And OG just proves me completely wrong. He jumps onto the ball, just carries that second to last fight, moving 2 people off the edge. Or boot 1 and then run over somebody.
Yeah, definitely a more coordinated push there. I think the very first kind of odd death from OG was just try to put some pressure on the point and then get out. You always expect to get out when you're playing ball because of the shields, because of the mobility. Didn't happen there, but yeah, I'm waiting for Jake to come in the room and just stare you down as we're going to see double Junkrats here on control. You actually live that meme. Jake is in your house at 2 a.m.
Jake's in my house, quite literally in my house every day at 2 a.m. He sometimes doesn't have a tire, so I'm lucky at least 50% of the time. If he's got a pulse bomb, no, I'm alright. If he's got a pulse bomb, that's going wide all the time. BQB gets the trap kill onto Mira. Not too bad at all. Jungrat supremacy for Mayhem currently. Oh dear, Yaki's in the back room. Look at him. He's just OG kills him. Yaki was just microwaving him. It should be a 1-5 from the Mayhem. The point does unlock, and OG ends up going down. As I say that though, Gargoyle was in a bit of an awkward situation, and yeah, the Glads have managed to get back in rather swiftly. They've actually jumped over to the Lucio Hex to speed everybody forwards, but Mayhem do manage to cap the point in the end.
Yeah, they had lost people very early, so the point wasn't even unlocked, so the attempted recontest there makes a lot of sense. However, Florida does grab that point. I'd like to see Byram use these windows a little earlier. Sometimes he uses them when the fight's already lost. There's a
Oh, no. Oh, Mira assassinates BQB and assassinates Yaki as well. 2 concussion mind kills for Mira. Can they do anything with the space they've been granted, though? The Flux is going to come up for Gargoyle rather soon, and they're surviving this engagement. As I say that, Gargoyle eventually ends up going down, just 10% away from his Flux. Murdering, there you go, turning everybody into a microwave dinner. That will be the fight win. It's just up for space now, just to stall for some additional time as the flip comes through.
Yeah, I mean, Bird Ring, prolific, always known for Symmetra, of course. Actually, I like what Symmetra is in the meta right now. I think she's in a really good spot where she's good on some maps and then just unusable on others. Not every hero has to be viable at all.
They're playing 1v1 DN in like the server room. BQB had the high ground though, so yeah, he couldn't quite get as much effect as he possibly could. Right, Gladiators, by the way, look at those ults. Looking pretty good. Tire, window been used. And that's a kill onto Byram. So that is going to be a reset for the Mayhem. At least they got a couple of ultimates out, the Gladiators, but still in a very good position to get into this next point. Oh, dearie me. Even better now. The tire from the high ground. I think BQB is actually going to die. If he doesn't let lose this tire, yeah, he's dead now because Mira was up there. He heard the tire go off. A TP2. There comes the wall. Bird Ring not quite saved by it. Gargoyle also takes out Shaz. They're using the supercharger to push forward onto this point. The shield's not going to matter too much from Bird Ring. They use the beat to keep themselves alive as Mira just throws in concussion mine after concussion mine, but finally Fate takes him down.
Yeah, really nice barrier there from Gangnam Jin to keep his entire team alive, and now the Immortality Field's going to come up and make sure that no one else dies. Florida will flip this back over at 42%. Los Angeles sitting at 60, but most importantly, Los Angeles sitting on a deficit of ultimates. They've got nothing left to use. They popped all 6. Florida was just coming online with most of their ultimates and were able to save a few, and now they're in the great spot of holding the doorway. This doorway can be a good hold when you have double tanks and double shields if you want to hold up front. Also, dropping a window here is really good. There's not a whole lot of great entrances on Control Center, so a window could stall them out, and then they can walk into Flux. Gladiators are going to need to get a tire up here because we're nearing last fight, 70% and counting up, Jaws.
That was a really nice TP, by the way, Hex. I'll quickly I'll point that out, just to get back to the point instantly, rather than going for this rotation. Of course, both teams have the Lucio to speed boost, but they want to save that. The window gets used first, and yeah, Space is caught out just a little bit. Uses the Eat as well, so he hasn't got too many tools left, and Gargoyle launches him up into the skies. The shield's going to do a fair bit to him, but the percent damage is a little bit too much for him to bear. And the rest is going to be handled by the DPS, it feels like. Byram being one of them. Nice couple of headshots onto OG. And the Mayhem, they haven't got any ults left. Mira has the tire, but it looks almost unwinnable at this point. It's going to be up to Big Goose to touch, but he ends up going down. And Mayhem, they take a stage here and tie it up 1-1 on Control.
I really like that Flux from Gargoyle. Comes out to deal with space, and that's going to be your primary target to make sure you get the other Sigma out of it with so much utility. Anytime you can find a free Sigma kill, you take it. But also, he put it on the teleporters, so that anyone who was going to pop out during that time could have gotten fluxed. The Symmetra came in late as able to avoid the flux, but it's kind of smart just to keep a little edge there. He wasn't going to get anybody else. He had the option of fluxing the Orisa as well, but Orisa, I believe, had Fortify up, so you just know your targets. Able to just get down his opposing number, takes out space on the other side. Really nice play as we're tied up 1-1 on Lijiang Tower. Go to the decider here, and Gladiators look to be in full dive.
Yes, indeedy. TP forward for the Mayhem.
Or our modified, our Zarya dive modification.
Okay, so they're staying with the same comp. Oh, yeah, Gladiators have seen that, and they don't want any of it. Maybe they do. They just kind of backed out from the initial engagement on the bridge, so the problem, I think, with the Gladiators comp right now is they don't really have a Lucio to speed them onto the Mayhem, and Mayhem have a lot of displacement, of course, with BQB, Gangjin, Gargoyle, etc., so it's going to be quite difficult for them to really do much here. OG's going to have a tough time and going to lose a lot of HP getting onto this point.
Yeah, it's very difficult to try to play the bridge against an Orisa and a Lucio. The environmental death is so high.
Look how split they're playing, guys.
Yeah, they're all over the place. This one's over.
Don't fire him, guys. But OG is now just going to turn into Ult Charge. There you go. At least they got Byron, but oh, unlucky boot for Shaz there. Mira to catch Yaki, but TP shouldn't be too much of an issue. And Mira's almost staggering himself at this point. Not sure if he has a dash available. I doubt it. And ends up going down fairly late, so that's going to give Yaki a lot of time to actually come back.
There has to be consideration sometimes to not stagger and to not feed that ult charge. Like, the most frustrating thing is to watch a Roadhog, like, alone 1v6 and then take a breather. It's like, what are you doing? You're just giving them charge. And, like, yeah, Mir should have just gone off the cliff there. You're not going to come back. You're not going to do anything. I mean, it's a small health pool, but every little bit counts. Big jump in now.
Yeah, this is going to be targeting the DPS, or at least trying to. Pops the primal too to stay alive. Attempting to kill the supercharger. He eventually does. And the juggling is going to be really good here from OG, but can't get too much done, actually, in the end. He kills him with Party Field and gets fluxed up. Still managing to stay alive as Mira unleashes the blade, jumping to the back line, but Byram turning into quite a hard target to kill and wasted a lot of time on that blade, mind you. Mira still cleans up the 2 DPS, however, and they do put themselves on the point. Gargoyle stalling out for some additional time as Mayhem gets 70% after the flip.
Alright, so now Florida's going to make a few changes. Yaki's going to go over to the Genji of his own. The Gladiators are going to have rally up for the next fight, but Florida is going to have a beat. So the engagement is going to be a little bit different. Florida has the option of being able to take the bridge because there is really no displacement, no knockoffs here for the Gladiators. However, you don't want to get Graviton surged off the bridge, so they're going to take White Room. Tires up.
He's got it. I would go around the outside, but yeah, look how hard he's making that time to kill. Oh my word, OG took the brunt of that damage, I believe. A nice little pulse bomb in the front line. It was actually field used late, but it doesn't really matter all too much. With OG dead, they use a lot of their potential to actually get into the fight. Also a self bubble used, and Gargoyle even needs the grab too, man. Look at the kill feed, just lining up. Ping, Mira comes in with the nano blade though, and finds 3. Oh, it looks so good for the Mayhem, eating the grab, and OG even being picked off first, but the clutch blade at the end from Mira sealed the deal.
Yeah, I mean, it was really close. Gangnam Jin, I mean, I think he knew the ult got eaten, but he ends up barriering anyway. Most of his team was at half health, but once that barrier comes down and starts dissipating, Mir is just going to be able to run wild. Florida, though, was in control of the point the entire time, so they're sitting at 88%. They're a single fight away. Fate's going to have Bongo. Yaki at 60% can theoretically get to a blade for this ultimate combination. Wow. And that's just a huge pick.
Were they expecting the McCree? I don't think Mira was. Big pick. Oh, look at his health bar. OG's almost dead. Get out, OG. Gargoyle chase him down. Supercharging out for the Mayhem. Asleep onto BQB. Make sure Birdering can clean him up. They're not out of the woods just yet, but they've got to be careful. Yaki's raring and ready to go with a blade. Byram is going to fall too, and now it's all up to Yaki. He finds 1 kill onto Birdering, but can't quite finish off the brig. The bubble is there to save him. Space lifted up into space as the flux came out from Mayhem, and they still controlling the point. The flip is coming through from the Gladiators with the rally online for Big Goose, but Mira goes down yet again to BQB. Doesn't matter what heroes he is on, he's just making sure he pays attention to the carry. Gladiators eventually clean them up and control the payload once more, but the Mayhem have one fight in their bank to go, but they're going up against a Grav Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, the Big Bang combo as old as time as Overwatch has been around, and then during that, even if it gets stalled out, then Mir should have a blade, and his blades have been very good so far. One fight to win Lijiang Tower is incoming here. Even trying to take the bridge is dangerous, because Grav can just yank you off.
It's going to be a game of tiny Overwatch on the point in a second. Oh, Space gets knocked. If this gets eaten again, I've got to think it's all over. He's paying attention to Gargoyle. All they need to do is kill him, then he can free Grav. He does just that. The Pulse Bomb on top as well. Byram ends up going down. Gargoyle to follow too. This Pulse Bomb has still not been used. I mean, I thought it got thrown in, but Burry is actually just still holding onto it. Yaki finds 2 clean kills without the blade and is nearing it, but gets cut in and put in his place by Space. They push onto the point, but they're not quite able to get there in the end. And the Gladiators, they end up taking the first map off the Mayhem.
About as close as that one gets. 55-50 is your final elimination tally there. And I really do think that it was probably just the Genji difference. When Mir's able to take down 2, 3 people with the blade, and they were able to really win those fights one-sidedly. The only time Florida really came back on that is when they switched to the McCree to deal with Mir early on, but a different style from the Gladiators, a jump in, and OG was just accepting his fate a lot of the time, but getting the monkey the bubble and just having all of that presence to be able to leap in and jump on it. Gargoyle could not do enough. You can't see the cards, but he's at 65% kill participation. Gargoyle tried to carry his best, did not work out, and Florida has dropped 1 map. I know there's a lot of Atlanta fans right now who are fans of the Los Angeles Gladiators.
We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. Don't go anywhere. Map number 2 coming up soon.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
이번 토너먼트가 마지막인 거니까 최대한 열심히 해가지고 대회 옛날 결승까지 가서 결승전에서 쇼크를 한 번 더 만나가지고 복수전이라고 해야 되나? 이거 한번 성공하고 이제 그 기세를 이어서 플레이오프까지 가서 우승까지 노려보고 이제 거기서 더 잘하는 모습 보여주고 기대를 저버리지 않는 메이엠이 되겠습니다.
Well, there it is. He wants to carry on the momentum into playoffs, but he's got a little bit of a mountain to climb currently. If he keeps playing the Sigma like he's been doing, though, like you saw at the end, or at least we can see the little cards, but he had a ridiculous amount of kill participation in limbs. Like, he was very, very, well, trying very hard to carry. Even ate one of the Graviton Surges as well, but unfortunately they just kind of slipped up at the end. And what do these two things have in common, Hex? And what did we see a whole lot of Mira doing before? It was the Nano Blade, right? The Shaz Nano with Mira. I mean, it was very hard to kind of focus Mira down when he hasn't got the blade. We saw BQB kind of killing him twice off of the bat. One on McCree, one on the Tracer too. But when that Nano Blade comes in, mechanically, Mira is just insane. And do you know who else is insane as well? Kevster is coming in, and I can imagine he's playing a little bit of Genji. So him versus Yaki will be a fight to watch. I mean, Kevster is definitely one of the most hyped players coming into the league, and this is your connections, of course, presented by Xfinity. And Kevster has been, surprise, very impressive. And I want to know exactly what the thought behind is here, actually having him come in, because Mira can play the Genji rather well. We just saw it just there. But Kevster, maybe a little bit more consistent, they feel?
Maybe Mira's just the better Junkrat, and they knew that they were going to end up on control. We'll see.
Yeah.
Kevster, I think, like at some point in time, had like #1 rankings in like every Genji category. So yes, Mira's fine, but Kevster is like that is your Genji ace, and so you're definitely going to be playing Genji as we enter into our next map. Yaki has picked it up too. I think there were some questions if Yaki was going to be an amazing Genji or not after we saw his Tracer just absolutely go off. And granted, they're the same role in like the flanker position, but Tracer and Genji play wildly different. So it's very unique to have a Tracer and Genji in the exact same pool. But Yaki had showed up pretty big on that one. And right now, I mean, regardless of any of the changes and the hero pool being open and Orisa being in there, we're seeing Genji at nearly 100% pick rate on most maps.
Yeah, look at those stats too. Kev's looking good over Yaki, apart from the deaths, but they're all fairly close, to be fair. Eliminations per Dragon Blade, I think, is the big one to look out for. Dragon Blade kills, yeah, so-so. I think the 1.5 to just the singular one is the one to look out for. And more often than not in this meta, if you've got the Dragon Blade and you've got Nano, you're either going to get owned, you're going to get rocked, you're going to get shield bashed, you're going to get slept, you're going to get naded, etc., or you go in and get 5 kills, or 3 to 5. And that's just the life of the Genji currently, because the amount of CC and the amount of things that can control him. But it's still good to kind of see Genji in his element as well. Genji's been out of the meta for a long time, and see people like Kevster, Yaki, Mira, every good Genji player under the sun actually play it. Agilities as well, right? It's really cool to see and really refreshing too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hero that's super fun to watch, mechanically demanding, and like just watching a single day of matches, maybe if there's 4 matches a day, you can tell the difference between really good Genjis and mediocre Genjis, and then Genjis that maybe it's not their strongest hero, right? So it's the eye test is really fun to watch Genjis with, of like, oh yeah, clearly that's the best Genji, and also this guy should please switch. Like, it's just not working out. Most teams have a pretty solid Genji though. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to this matchup as we enter into Havana. Very likely going to be a Genji and an Ashe.
Look at this very slow-mo, tiny Overwatch. Oh my god, wait, he walked right past him.
Didn't see him.
Oh, and Goose. He's like, wait, Mira, you're up there. What do you mean? What do you mean you didn't see him?
Calculated.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous, time. Don't see like something like that every day, I'll tell you that.
All right, well, defensively from Florida, no surprises here. Double shield, Genji, Ashe, and then a Zen and Baptiste. Zen can be really good to try to shut down the opposing Genji too. You just don't feel as comfortable when you've got that Discord orb. The noise alone makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, and the little effect that goes around your screen too. Oh, BQB giving us a little dance. I'm assuming that's like is that a line dance or something?
Yeah.
Cool. There you go.
Oh, you guys don't have like country music in Britain, do you?
Not really, but my parents do line dance actually. But,
in the upper Midwest, we have polka, which is a way worse variation of line dancing.
How's it worse?
Just look it up.
It just sucks.
Trust me on this one.
Says by man who is bad at that dance. Well, we start off with the Widowmaker for Birdering. I love the Widowmaker on this map. Obviously the long sight lines definitely help, but if the enemy DPS and they're coming out with an Ash, there's obviously no chance for you to actually switch, so definitely advantage for the spawners in this case, or the attackers, sorry, as the spawners right next to you.
Oh, Bloodless so far, just playing around this corner, rotating shields in and out, trying to get as much as possible. BQB finds the kill on a Big Goose.
Just got insane movement. He's no way he's going to get headshot by BQB. He's going to get out of there rather fast. He did show legs there for a second, and one day we will be graced by Kevster's legs, but not today. And that imagine you just tuned in for the first time on Overwatch ever, and you heard me say, I can't wait to see Kevster's legs. That would be very weird if legs didn't mean soldier. I'm going to verify that right now to make sure I don't get in trouble. Space is going to die to Gargoyle, and another pick and another reset for the Gladiators. Oh, Bird Ring, yep. We just managed to get through, but Kevster died.
Immortality field has to come out, but it might not even be enough. They get him. I love this aggression switch. They just flipped it on. And now I wouldn't even hate a forward hold. Like, we've seen a lot of forward holds on Havana, because if you lose this forward hold, then you can just fight it second. But usually you see it immediately. But Florida's transitioning into this, so they're going to have ultimates for this forward hold. This is sick.
Gives Birdering a lot less move to... Oh! Kevster didn't see him. Gives Birdering a whole lot less space as well to move on the Widowmaker, so not bad whatsoever. Plus the payload is actually moving back now. Yaki making sure he's checking the angles. There's the Flux high in the sky. Kevster's already dead. Single headshot, we'll do it. There's the Dragon Blade 2. Everybody backing out the Immortality field. Oh, just go for a quicker reset, guys. No worries, just give him the kills. Little spin around there from Yaki. Nice little 3K. Still holding at the doors. 1 minute and 40 seconds remain, Tex. I do wonder if Birdering's going to switch at some point. So, oh, well, definitely not anymore. They take care of Byron, and now he activates sights. So the rest of the Mayhem, that's the pick they were after. I was going to say, maybe he switches because they're too close up, but nope, not today.
Yeah, it's a full-on retreat now.
I love the Supercharger.
There's going to be, yeah, Supercharger dropped out now just to regain space and maybe hope that you get Byron back in the mix.
Man, that was huge. Kevster got a, well, I don't know what you'd call the Immortality field and the Supercharger. They're not people, so a 1.2 kills with the pulse bomb. Pets? What?
In programming terms, they're pets, like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I guess so.
In the conversations I've had with like the stats guys and the developers, there was. It's hard to account for pet stats in the world, is what they say.
Pet stats. I see. Interesting. Interesting. Are they summons? Orisa's Orisa's Supercharger, the symmetric turrets, are they summons? Do you summon them?
I don't know.
They should be called summons. I'm going to know. I don't want to. Actually, I want to talk about summons. Transcendence onto the points. I'm getting distracted completely. My brain is melting slowly in this very hot room. Birdering's going to hold on to the right-hand side, or left-hand side even, with the Widowmaker. Yaki takes down Big Goose, and BQB does end up trading. Beautiful stick once again from Kevster.
So
it's not doing, like, even if it's in the Immortality field, the Immortality field is going to die, and then there's going to be no HP. So Kevster's patience with this pulse bomb is paying off in dividends for the Gladiators.
Yeah, that was just going to be a buffet for him. If you looked at Florida Mayhem's health bars, they were all 20% or less, so that's where Tracer just is able to absolutely clean up. Gladiators are going to grab this first point, and they're still staying on the Widow, which I actually still like on this first point, and Birdering's playing it really well. He's going to have eyes again, so you can't even really peek now if you're Florida as they try to set up. Florida's going to have some tank ultimates and both DPS ultimates up, so Gladiators are just going to try to take a forward position.
I do actually really like Orisa's gun sound through the window. It sounds so cool.
Everything's
we had a conversation we had a long time ago about the sound design in Overwatch being just incredible. It's
perfect.
Another note of that. Byron takes a shot. He gets body shot, luckily enough. Rotation for the Florida Mayhem now onto the high ground. Gargoyle wants to push everybody off, so they go straight into the Flux. That's what they've done. A beautiful halt into the rock on Shaz. This is a kind of a bad look for the Gladiators now, as they are getting pincered. BQB does get traded, but play coming out from Yaki straight into the back line, gets rocked. That's a lot of deflected damage, and that's a lot of kills for the Florida Mayhem. They hold the payload for the time being, just under this bridge, and they got a lot of ults to spare too.
Yeah, nice immortality field to keep Yaki alive, and granted it's a long cooldown, but it'll be back up by the time they need to fight again. And Florida's able to hold on to 2 tank ultimates. Los Angeles cupboard is bare right now, only a supercharger going to be up for the next fight. And now they don't have the luxury of holding the high ground, which the very first capture point gave them. They were able to push far forward, hold the high grounds, and second on Havana can be absolutely brutal for the offense to push into because all the high ground is naturally for the defense.
See that Discord orb on OG right now. You can LOS it, of course, and it will disappear. It's not like there's any other days at all. Old at this point. Vintage Overwatch. Very, very vintage. Gargoyle still with the flux. Oh, immortality. No, sorry. Fortify's already been used. So this is OG just trying to get out of there as quick as he possibly can, especially with this damage coming through from the supercharger. Oh, death
cool
for a buff! Oh, no! Oh, OG just dies to the regular shots from Gangnam Jin. 30 seconds remains, and Gladiators, they're running for the hills currently. They need to respawn ASAP, just group together of 6, but Florida Mayhem still holding on to so many ultimates.
Florida's done such a great job of noticing when they're winning a fight and making sure that they continue to win the fight, going after it, pressing far forward. Generally, you don't see defenses push beyond that archway, but they go through there and clean up the kills. They've just gotten the aggression mode down very quickly. 2 support ultimates for the Gladiators. Birdring is going to switch over to the McCree of all things, maybe to stop Yaki's Blade, but Florida in a great spot. Can transcend his Blade and just win this fight.
Kevster touches. So the payload is now in OT. Someone has to retouch though. I think it's going to have to be on the job of Kevster once again. They're still holding on to the Transcendence. Yaki goes in with a Blade. There's 1. Jumps the backline 2. Oh, the deflect kill onto space to finish it off. The duck dip diving and dodging around the shots of Birdring. Doesn't quite net him the kill onto that, but Gargoyle holding on to this payload. 8 the pulse bomb previously as well. And now the Tracer has to deal with the Transcendence somehow, but Gargoyle launches a rocket at his head, and Kevster falls, and the Mayhem are going to hold just before this second point. Very good defense for the Florida Mayhem.
Solid hold, and you saw it on first point too. Florida just recognizing when they're in a big advantage. I think that might be the first time I've ever seen a team transition into a spawn camp hold on Havana. Generally, you start out there, and then it's not great because if you get broken, then the offense is going to have a much greater ult charge. You see it a lot on Route 66 as well. However, Florida noticed that they had an advantage, chased them down and got a bunch of kills, and then were like, well, let's just spawn camp now. They did the same thing on second. It's about recognizing advantages, recognizing one fights, turning on the aggression. Florida is running a masterclass in that.
Yeah, I love that transition, Hex. Because they knew Birdring was on the Widowmaker, so you give them less space. It's, like you said, it's way more common to just hold it first and then pull back, but they actually held back and then pushed forward.
It also came off the back of killing Birdring, who missed his grapple. And and so they're like, well, I think we just hold here, right?
Yeah, makes sense. Take the space when you can. Birdring's going to be back on the Widowmaker for the defense here. And again, I do really enjoy the Widowmaker on the defense and the offense on this map. Long sight lines, being able to hold down almost a complete angle as well. Of course, it's fairly tough to get through double shield, but the enemy DPS are trying to get the angles, and you can sometimes kind of catch them out. We'll see if BQB does want to match him in the Widow versus Widow, but I think the Ashe has been working out just so well for them. I'd be surprised if they did switch.
Yeah, the Ashe is going great for them, and it seems like the Gladiators do want to hold far back here. Really far back. Not even putting the Widow in the window.
I think they're scared of BQB switching over, to be honest. They're going to have Sigma up there too.
Yeah, they're squatted up. It's 3-on-3. They're holding both sides. It's an interesting defensive position.
Especially if you're brick too, it's actually fairly hard for Shaz to launch the orbs over. You have to be at a nice little angle for him to actually do so. So it's hard if Big Goose gets damaged, and you can see there, he got body shot by BQB, had to instantly back away.
I wonder what that was supposed to accomplish, because really the moment that that right side squad got pressured, they just rotated to the left side anyway.
He's on the nice little flank too. Oh, they trade headshots. Birdring leaving BQB with 4 HP. Now Birdring has to play a little bit more defensive, especially doesn't have space anymore. And Immortality Field used too. This is going to be a roll. This is not really competitive, at least on this first point. BQB just destroying everybody, and they didn't even contest. Wow, 5 minutes and 20. That has got to be the quickest first point push on Havana we've ever seen. That cart did not stop moving with 2 to 3 people on it.
There was absolutely no defense. I think they had an idea of what they wanted to do and maybe let them in and collapse with both the 3s on either side of the choke point. but that moment never came. And this is something with the Gladiators that happens a lot. I feel they outthink themselves sometimes.
Oh, he knows. Yeah, he had his deflect up. Window's going to get used on the high ground to force the Gladiators into a rotation. Sights are going to be down soon. They kill off Yaki, who was on his own.
Kill.
And that does result in the Mayhem backing off. Nice little go into Gangnam as well to back off. And yeah, so now this is their last defense. They have 4 minutes and 30 seconds, X, to defend a few meters. This has been very much a one-sided state of affairs.
It's going to be a single fight, and Florida is nearing their damage ultimates as well. There's going to be a Bob and a Blade ready to go. Blade and, Bob and Flux is actually decent. If you can put Bob like behind them, and then the Flux goes up, and Bob is just shooting air shots there. So Florida in a really good spot because the defensive ultimates for the Los Angeles Gladiators are nearly non-existent. They really only have Rally. You can defensively Flux, but that never feels great. So Florida, it is their fight to lose here.
Oh, there's the Flux. Oh, BQB is on the other side. Oh, straight into the post bomb. Luckily enough, the Immortality Field was there. That would have been disastrous. I think that would have been at least a couple of kills. Yaki gets halted back in. That's a lot of utility used from the Gladiators.
Go again.
And they just go again. Yeah, save 6 ults. Look at that. I mean, Fate 8% off. Gangnam Jim is definitely going to have his ult as well. They can find an initial kill here, actually. This could be a very good start for a quick re-engage, but Gangnam Jim and Gargoyle are low, so they're going to back off.
The silver lining for the Gladiators is that they were able to build... Ooh.
Oh no! A Bird Ring got one dashed by Yaki. Oh, this is it. This is surely it. Look at the ults that are coming online. They got Blonga. Well, they have everything. They have 6.
They don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, it's just Rally that may be the saving grace for the Gladiators. Maybe.
There's 2 people behind. What? Kevster on the flank with Big Goose. Okay, the Rally's going to have to reach space. No, G, you got a thing. There's the Bob kill on to space, and the Transcendence to push them forward. Someone's going to have to touch. It's going to be Kevster. One of the tanks as well. Maybe OG has to get down from high ground. Are they going to C9? Well, actually, they're all almost dead, in fact. So maybe that wasn't a C9. They just all fell over, Hex. Oh my goodness, what a stomp for Mayhem.
The Gladiators were all over the place. You even saw it at the end. OG completely isolated, maybe waiting to touch. It just seemed like they were never really fighting as a full 6 from the very first notion of that defense, where there's 3 on the right side, 3 on the left, and then the moment there's any pressure onto that right side, they all rotate anyway. So, like, what was the point of that? Did it get caught out too early? I don't know. I'm actually just wondering. I'd like to talk to some of the Gladiators and figure out what the idea was there. But that cart never stopped moving. BQB was hitting shot after shot, and to be able to 1v1 a Widow as a Ashe always feels good. Of course, BQB had shields in front of him, so 1.5v1 gets those shots, and then they just roll through, banking up ultimates as well, knowing not to throw good money after bad, after the initial Flux actually hurt them a little bit. Just come in, rolling in, and taking out Bird Ring with that dash is enormous, because then you just don't have to worry about it. Like, Widow is a anxiety-causing hero. I have to worry about these head, like, the sight lines. I have to worry about being headshot. Can I Blade or do I get headshot? Like, and just taking that out of the mix, not only is it a 6v5, but it's like the important space controlling damage healer in the backline is now out of it, and Florida rolls through. So control has been wonky. Los Angeles won that one. Florida wins Havana, and halftime coming up at 1-1, Jaws.
Yeah, we'll see you after the break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We've got Watch Point to break down the action so far.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. Welcome to a game break presented by Pringles. Wavy, Zoe here, joined by Costa, as well as Reinforce, and the current score is 1 apiece. Now, it's actually been quite close on that first map, so let's dive straight in there and talk about all the action. Maybe starting with you here, Reinforce, as they really took it to each other. You were particularly fond of what we saw composition-wise from the Gladiators.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just delighted that they're actually playing to their strengths and actually playing more of this dive composition, because the expectancy was going into this week with no hero pools would be that we would see a lot of Orisa and Sigma, and that was just going to be it, right? But now the Gladiators, they proved the past couple of weeks that they are really comfortable playing that Winston and the Wrecking Ball and can play with that fast tempo. So I'm really delighted to see them come out on this kind of dive composition. It started out kind of confusing with OG trying to touch the point with Wrecking Ball and stuff. Like, it was kind of a bit up in the air. But then as the map progressed, we saw the Gladiators really come into their own when they played more of that Winston and played to what they do best. So quite delighted in that regard. I've said delighted 3 times now to actually see them play that composition. I'm so delighted. I'm super delighted to see them play more dives. So I hope they do more of that, because that is the best Gladiator that they can put forward.
I see. But then we go to the other side, right? And we go to map 2, and they just throw it all out the window. They put Kevster back onto the DPS lineup, and he's on the Genji, so we expected. But he comes in, plays the Tracer, then we have the Gladiators playing Birdering on a lot of the Widow, and it just doesn't look like it makes any sense. They can't really be aggressive. They just seem to be standing around, and the Florida Mayhem is just taking space for free, and we're going to see that a little bit later. But this was just all Florida, this entirety of the map. They look really comfortable with BQB on this Hiscan, Yaki back on this Genji. This looks so much better. They couldn't really execute anything that they wanted to on the first map because of the weird dive that the Gladiators brought out, and that's why I think the Gladiators look good. But as soon as they go to this mirror, as we said in the pre-show, they just fall flat.
I mean, Hex actually summed it up perfectly, saying that the Florida Mayhem are currently putting on a masterclass on Havana, as they just showed prime examples of how to engage, how to disengage, what are your win conditions, repositioning. So overall, that was just really, really solid and very clean played by the Florida Mayhem. For our game break presented by Pringles Wavy, we do want to take a closer look at the offense we saw there from the Gladiators, or the lack of the offense. Reinforce, why don't you walk us through it?
Yeah, sure. So we have this composition from the LA Gladiators on the defense, and we had our questions about what the idea was here. So what happens is they play the Widowmaker and the Tracer, and it's so volatile compared to the consistency of an Ashe and a Genji, right? So Birdering has to find picks in this composition or get people low so that Kevster and the Tracer can't finish them off. But it's so hard to make this work because you don't have a lot of great angles as the Widowmaker here. You're going to get poked away by the Ashe, you're going to get poked away by the Zenyatta. So it's very hard for the Gladiators to make this composition work on this first point. Meanwhile, the Florida Mayhem, they can just walk up because they have the Dynamite from the Ashe, they have the Genji poking away and can dash in, and they just play their own game. So this composition, I did not like to see this from the Gladiators because it plays to their volatile game plan, but it's hard to make this work against a team like the Florida Mayhem.
And it's really hard to run the Widowmaker in this situation. If Birdering just doesn't get kills, then what does the rest of their team comp do? You think about it, their tank line is trying to stay in the front line and try and get pulls and damage, but they're up against 2 shields. And then on the other hand, you have Kevster, who's playing the Tracer, but has nobody to provide damage with him, so he can't go aggressive until an opening happens. So the entire team is just waiting for something. Everyone else is waiting for someone else to do something, and then eventually you see there's too much damage that comes out from the Genji and the Ashe for the Florida Mayhem, and Space just dies. It's not even his fault. It's a result of nobody doing anything, and that's why I really question the Gladiators comp, and I'm really interested to see the adjustments they make in this halftime.
Yeah, we're heading on to Numbani next, so very quick thoughts, Reinforce. What adjustments do you want to see from the Gladiators?
I mean, we could see so many different things from the Gladiators. I wouldn't even want to predict what they're actually going to play. Are we going to see them default to more like Ashe and Genji type compositions? I don't think so, because quite frankly, I think they're going to lose the matchup, the mirror matchup against the Florida Mayhem. I think the Gladiators have to be inventive here and come up with something new that maybe catches the Mayhem off guard. And that's what I'm curious to see what the Gladiators bring. But I'm not going to try to predict it, because who knows?
Sorry,
Who
Monkey
knows?
Dive.
Yeah, okay,
Please do
there we go.
That's what I want. I think that's how they won. They won the first map with it. They can win Numbani with it.
Right. Well, let's see if that holds true or not. We'll find out in just a second as we are heading into a very quick break, and then we're back with all the action on the second half between the Gladiators and the Florida Mayhem.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor.
This is the last day of the Countdown Cup qualifiers. We're currently halfway through the series with Gladiators and Mayhem at 1 apiece currently, Hex. And next week, don't forget to tune in on overwatchleague.com, or you can check out on the app as well, as you do get double token drops. So it's worthwhile doing, as you get a couple of free skins a little bit quicker. And let's get back into the game though, Hex. No substitutions for either team. We're seeing Kevsa stick in for the Gladiators. And would you sub Mira back in? I mean, Kevsa just took quite a heavy-hitting blow. In fact, the whole of the Gladiators did with that steamroll of a map that was Savannah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I think the Gladiators are like trying to do, but it's just not looking perfect. And I do think that sometimes they outplan themselves and outthink themselves and like, oh, this would be cool if it works. Like if you look at Havana, first I mentioned like the two squads on either side playing weird roles. But then, like, even towards the end, you had a Brigida on the high ground behind the Florida Mayhem, hit a rally, only hit a couple people. So it just seems like chaos, and they're not playing together as a 6. As we go to Numbani, I think this is a really good map if you want to dive, especially on offense. And dive kind of takes away some of those overthinking and thoughts. Like, everyone knows how to play dive. Let's follow our Winston in, and let's jump in with the Genji, and let's bubble them up. So there's a lot of things that you can do, like, just to take away the thinking from the game and just let them play, let the muscle memory kick in.
I've had a couple of close series recently, one against Philly, of course. Let's see what Big Goose had to say about that game and how they come into these maps and matches as well.
I think playing against top 3 team or top 4 teams is always fun. And I think for us to be able to get victory would be something that we didn't do as well against Philly match, was to adapt. We adapted in the Philly match, but not as well as we would have liked to. It was a very close match, and yeah, I think as for the approach of how we come to this week, it's pretty normal or pretty standard, pretty much the same, but I think we just have to be better in these mid-match adaptations.
Okay, so mid-match adaptations is the key to victory if you're the Gladiators, according to Big Goose. We'll see what they can do on Numbani. Of course, we didn't see a whole lot of changing compositions, although not too much of a surprise. We did see Birdering flick over to the Widowmaker, and it did have varying success, although that last push with the Mayhem, that's what they found. Well, they found Birdering at the side. He was the one that actually tripped up and got killed off by BQB and Yaki, and that's what really ended the map for them. So, you know, mid-match adaptations, maybe it's in terms of comp swaps or just in terms of like focusing targets too, because Yaki's just having a bit of a field day at the moment with his Dragon Blades, and it's hard to shut someone down who's on fire, Hex, but you can do your best.
Well, they've been playing split almost by design in a lot of scenarios, and Florida has noticed this, and they've just gone after it. I mean, we look at Havana and the fact that they were able to get trickle kills and then spawn camp on them, but Florida is hitting the switch of when somebody is 2 or 3 steps out of position, and the Gladiators are trying to run these very precise positional plays of these guys are here, these guys are here. Florida's just like, okay, then we'll just take 6v3 over here, we'll take 6v3 over here. That didn't work. What are you going to do next? So Florida is really capitalizing on the Gladiators being out of position, and so maybe Numbani, especially on defense, the Gladiators should be able to all stay together, play the stairs, play the bunker. Kevster's going to go freelance on the Genji, so nothing out of the ordinary for the Gladiators defense, kind of a bunker and stairs hold that we've seen on Numbani so far with no hero pools. We'll see what Florida wants to play. Florida, you know, they could run some Soldier 76. Seems to be a really good map for him. On the offense, I'm not so hot on Soldier 76. Defense a little bit better. So I don't think Yaki's going to play that. Probably going to go to the Genji.
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't think Gargoyle's going to play D.Va. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Same old, same old. Then Byron back on the Zenyatta, of course. Oh! Birding's found himself a nice little position in the tree.
That's
you get
cool.
booed from there, mate. You're going to die.
But he's living up to his name. Literal bird up in the tree.
Literal bird, setting up a nest, making it right, gathering twigs. Okay, they're going to take a low ground approach. Take high ground. Zen just kind of gets owned a little bit, and you can't really brawl out because you don't have the brig, so it kind of makes sense why you'd go on the low ground. Look at Fate, by the way. What is he doing?
Oh, he could have got a tick.
He's perched. Oh, beautiful kill onto Birdering, from Birdering, sorry, onto BQB. He's in the back line. He does manage to find the coach gun kill as well. Finally gets beat down. He could have potentially got a tick. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I think he should have sat there.
A long time.
Well, all said and done, Big Goose going to come in and clean up, mace in the face. I don't mind the actual, like, the main street push there. I really think they should have stayed on it and gotten their tick. Now Yaki is in no man's land.
He's on another server. He's going to have to wait such a long time for him, for the rest of his team to come back here as well. Man, this is going to be punishing if he dies or gets chunked out and has to go for a health pack.
OG with a nice shield tech, I believe. Yep, there it is. Shooting it straight up in the air. Helps cooldowns.
There we go, Fate's on the point. He's bunkered down. Someone has to touch to stop this capture progress going on. Fate is wiggling backwards and forwards, which is kind of hindering the capture percentage. I mind you. Oh, Kevster got the better of Yaki in that situation. The Pace Warlord. He doesn't end up falling, so they trade DPS for DPS. I'd much rather have my Ashe up in this situation, especially when you've got Window online soon as well. There's a Flux right on top of it. Immortality Field is already down. Can they kill him before anything disgusting happens? Well, Byram clicked on Shaz's head, and now Space is in trouble. He manages to kill 2, but a Transcendence to force them forwards and actually guarantee them the cap almost. However, spawn points are going to be fairly close for the defense. The best thing about Numbani, when you do die fairly early, you can get back on, but now Kevster and Big Goose staggering themselves just a little bit here. It does look unlikely that Gladiators are going to be able to recontest.
Yeah, Kevster and Big Goose should get good spawns. They do just that, so you'd imagine a corner hold here will be the order. Although playing very far back, maybe you find space and work around the bus here. Yeah, Gladiator's way far back right now.
Okay, so what do they have? Tally it up. They have Longo. Whoa, that was very early. Used the Supercharger. They're going to rally in response and use... Wait, they used the Immortality Field already? They're going to get Flux. That Blade's going to get Flux as well. Kevster's in trouble. He's got a little bit of armor. Still manages to find the kill on BQB, though. Right to the back line. That's a double. That's almost a triple, but gets rocked in the end. But the rest of the team are going to be able to gather around him and clean the rest of this fight up. That looked like a very winnable fight with the Mayhem there, as they were able to not only use the Flux, but use a Flux on Gladiators that had already used the Immortality Field. Oh,
yeah, it was patient play too, though, from the Gladiators too, because the bongo went down early and everyone just kind of waited it out until it was dissipating, and then they were able to go in with the Blade. And yeah, I don't care how good your Zenyatta is, you're gonna die to Genji in that situation. And now the Gladiators find the space to take a forward hold right around the corner. Space has his Flux ready.
Supercharger hidden as well. Window, so they can't play forward, but now they definitely can as that Flux comes up. Everybody's so low. You need a couple of reset kills. The Blade in the back low from Yaki. Oh, the deflect kill. Perfect time to do it, so he doesn't get insta-killed by Shaz. That's a couple of kills, and that'll be the payload moving again.
I mean, there's not really much to talk about in these fights. It's, that Genji had Blade, and the other Genji had Blade, and now that's how they won the fights.
Yeah, pretty much. Someone could build a flowchart around it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the DPS, or excuse me, the support difference might end up being pretty crucial here, because Transcendence versus Rally, Transcendence will absolutely save you. Rally can be used much more aggressively if you should so need it. Florida putting 3x on the card as Los Angeles tries to come out. Bob could come in here for the cart. Yep, Bob on the cart.
Bob on the cart. Bob sitting on the payload. Oh, that Supercharge is going to get destroyed, I can imagine. Oh, Kevster manages to take out BQB on the side. He's actually in the back, ignoring Supercharger. He just kills 2 people and gets out. Okay. Well, there you go. That's what you can do as a Genji for someone like Kevster. In the back, instant 2 kills. Like I said, just ignore the Supercharger. He's like, team, you deal with the incoming damage. Me just kill people. Me kill more people now as he finishes off Yaki.
I mean, I think Florida's going to stick on this Zenyatta, at least for the Transcendence, but it's pretty obvious that the Gladiators just have so much more sustain with the Brigitte and Bab. They're just able to push forward in these fights with the Brig as a half tank, half support kind of hero, Paladin hybrid, and they're just able to roll over, and Byram gets caught out, and yeah, the healing exists, but it's not ideal. So in this time around, I think Transcendence has to come out. Almost no matter what kind of pressure you get, you're probably going to wait for Blade and then try to Transcendence the Blade, counter Blade.
Keeping the Discord on to Kevster. Outside the field now down, murdering on the flank. In fact, yeah, a lot of the Gladiators... a lot of the Gladiators players just kind of isolating themselves. The Flux is going to come through too, although they don't need it. But Gargoyle already hit the Q button before everybody died, so... kind of see why I used the Flux there, and yeah, that was very odd. Birdering and Big Goose were off to on a flank. Yeah. I think they were trying to help Space because he was the only one on the high ground, so that's what I can imagine that was happening. They do end up foregoing this second point now and have to battle against 2 minutes.
Second or third time that Big Goose has been just in a strange spot. Maybe it's like silent resistance against playing Break. It's like, I wouldn't be here if I was Ana. I wouldn't be here if I was Ana.
That's true. The revolution of support players because they don't want to play Droid. Nice Transcendence there from Mayhem just to push them forwards. They've got to be careful of Kevster's Blade, although with no nano, they're hoping
Transcendence just came out.
Tap. Instantly Kevster went to 40 HP, so he can't dash forwards now. Birdering's already dead too. He tries to pay attention to the back, and he does just that. Helps Shaz kill off BQB, but now going to Jin with a blade of his own. He dodges that whip shot and manages to get above Shaz and kill him off. And now everybody's caught in the tiny Overwatch room. Kevster finds the kill, but Tank's still alive for Mayhem on the payload here, Hex.
Nice halt there is going to take down Kevster, and right now it is all the Mayhem pushing forward. You never want to have to coach gun onto the cart, but that seems to be the scenario for Birdring. He takes down 2 though.
Takes down 2, yeah. I mean, this is really good because Wolf's going to be able to get back to payload. This will be the Mayhem now backing off. They have 50 seconds remaining. They're going to have one fight here.
Birdring just was like the only one alive on the right-hand side, had to coach gun onto the cart and gets 2 on his way in. That's enough for any defense to hold. Now they're going to have Bob and the window, whereas Florida has nothing. Maybe a Supercharger. Supercharger's got such a long range that I think you can actually just drop it around a corner here.
Yep, that's exactly what they're going to do. York and BQB are going to run out so quickly. That long range boulder actually did hit Shaz, it looked like. And BQB actually holding out in the spawn doors. So if Gladiators get wiped here, they're going to have no choice but to only come out of the singular one. BQB going very low, tried to coach back into the small room, but went too far out and was caught unawares by Kevster. Now Kevster potentially finding another kill on the DPS. The dash has already been used by Yaki. Immortality field on the point too. They have to be able to touch, but it looks almost impossible. A flux off the payload for everybody and a transcendence forward to get the OT ticking. But looks very unwinnable now for the Mayhem unless they come up with something big. Yaki has to get this blade online. He is 10% away, but it's all spawn advantage for Gladiators. Kevster nearing a blade of his own as well. Yaki finds a kill, launches the blade in, but OG just clocks him for 6. And now the ball back onto the payload. This is going to be the defense for the Gladiators. The game will, or the map even, will end next round. Kevster attempting to kill, there we go, eventually kills off Fate after getting booped away. 2 points and 69 meters. Nice. Going towards that third payload, third point.
You child. But I laughed, so
what do you mean? You laughed.
No, I've said it so many times.
I got saved by the 0.94 because it was almost 70 meters, so or the 0.99 there.
Byram Zen was not ideal there in several situations. I mean, you're playing it to get the Transcendence and to keep people alive, but even at the very last touch, he was a second late to save Fate, who was crawling towards the cart, ended up face planting into it. But maybe if he keeps Fate alive there with the Transcendence, that was just a second too late. Then they have more staying power on the point because the Transcendence ended up healing 2 other people. But so far, the Zenyatta has not been great. The Transcendence has been forced out before Blades a couple of times. And yeah, you're going to see Florida switch. I mean, maybe it's just a defensive versus offensive thing, but now Byram will go over to the Brigida.
Yeah, oh, his third double kill. 1 tick. And
yeah, it's the coach gun into the air.
Boom!
Oh,
look at that slow-mo. But yeah, I mean, you said it when it happened, but you only need 1 pick ideally, so if you get 2, it's defendable. It's very defendable. That Dynamite as well was making sure they were so low to get 1 shot.
I think he definitely needed 2 in that situation because Gladiators had lost a lot at that point in time, and it was desperation just touching the card. I mean, that's why the coach gun was coming in. It was just so that he could go touch the point because no one else was there. It's a very nice place from Birdring.
Do the same thing as they did on Havana, that is the question. I think Kev's just looked a little bit better as well. They just need a little bit of a warm-up game. Happens. Same low ground approach for the Gladiators. Mayhem switched Byram onto the Brig this time. He's not going to be on that Zen. Nice little pull. Look at that. Straight onto Big Goose's head. They know the target they will want to kill. And then they forced him all the way back as well. So he's only able to really throw out the repair packs and not actually get the Inspire proc. So a whole lot of less healing for the side of the Gladiators. So that was a perfect incision from Mayhem.
Oh my god. People get really deep cleanup kills too.
Yeah. I haven't fought in that point of Numbani. Yeah, me either. Actually, maybe on the first day I played Overwatch. Yeah, I probably did. Right up on the spawn doors. I forget there's a whole like pathway around there that goes up to the high ground and.
Yeah, there's health packs and everything. It's like they designed it to be played, but no one plays it.
Nope, no one plays it. The meta evolved, I think, after 2 days of playing Overwatch. Just like, no, actually holding the point's the best place to play here. Another low ground attack. Looking at the ult charge both for Gargoyle and Space right now. Big deficit for space, 30% behind. He's going so low too. That's stun into the few spheres. I like the fact that they're jumping straight onto the immortality field as well. Kevster goes way too deep. Didn't have any healing in that small room, so any damage was permanent in that instance, and Kevster ends up going down. I love the way that Mayhem are playing high ground, then drop on top of the Gladiators with immortality field. Force the Gladiators to use theirs as well. Yaki's got the blade coming up too. 2 minutes of the time bank already whittled away. This is not a good look for the Gladiators right now. The ultimate bank is just kind of terrible.
Yeah. Florida's done a great job all day of picking their spots when it comes to aggression, and that was a perfect example. The immortality field and the drop down of we're going to fight now, and we decide when to fight. We don't play defense, we play offense.
Oh, and now Big Goose is alone in the Mega Pack room. He's just going to get solo bladed. I mean, yeah, that wins you a team fight, like, straight up. I mentioned the lack of healing before. It's even more so now. He's just straight up dead. Yaki dives into the front line yet again, killing off OG, and another big hold for the Florida Mayhem. And you talked about that. Look, you praised them just a second ago, and I praise them again. The ultimate economy game as well for the Mayhem, I think, has been the most impressive thing for me about the team over the last couple of weeks.
Are geese solitary creatures? Because the amount of times Big Goose has been alone have been surprising. I don't think they are.
Okay. I would, yeah, I was hoping that was rhetorical.
Because there's a gander. Gander means several geese.
Gander. Yeah, also means have a look. Take a gander at this. Anyway, Dynamite. Oh, bird ring. Get back. Now he has to back off like Fate Supercharger does end up going down, but they're in a nice little position. Oh, Bob's on the point, or near the point. Everyone's getting dragged off in towards him, but there's going to be a lot of shields in his way. A lot of extra ult charge for the healers too, but Gargoyle falling and everything getting split up is exactly what the Gladiators needed. And this is it. The first points are eventually taken on what looked like a perfect situation for the Mayhem to win. It was all about the Gladiators. They're splitting up the Mayhem. It's literally been about who can split the enemy team up quicker, who can isolate one of the supports, who can isolate the Brig or a DPS, and then kill them, and then we can win the fight. It turns into a 5v6, and then you win.
I mean, that's the Orisa composition, right? I mean, you saw OG, he got like some really nice halts, pulled them off high ground. He was able to pull Gargoyle off high ground. Gargoyle had to use his grasp just to deal with the Bob, and then he's got no utility left to deal with everything else that's going at him. So these halts, when teams have a natural defensive high ground, the halt is really the game changer to pull them off, isolate, and eliminate enemy heroes.
Take a very forward position as well, but yeah, Mayhem are going to be able to push up here. They have the window. They have Blade. So when they use the Flux, I'm curious if Gladiators use Flux and then straight into Blade would make the most sense, but that Flux only hit one, and it was Gargoyle, so he's going to get healed up rather easily, and now Kevster hasn't got to worry about the immortality deal. Just going to go straight in. Instantly, BQB gets taken out. A kill onto Gangna Jim, a reset to the back line, but Byram make sure he pays for it with his life, but the tank line for the Mayhem are crumbling as Fate falls. You can't really recontest here either. I mean, Yaki is going to be able to get to payload, sure, but this Blade is going to be pretty useless for him as with no backup.
They had to use everything just to get Yaki out of there. All right, so Gladiators 3 minutes left on their push. They just have to get it to the end. But Florida with defensive ultimates, they have Transcendence. I need to see better Transcendences out of Byram. The damage has been there. It's been and good. But Transcendences before Blades have come out, Transcendences that aren't saving people, makes me doubt this Zen Pig. And I really don't want to doubt Zen Pigs.
No, I really don't want to doubt it either. Very early use of the Ant Matrix there. Thank you for letting me know yours is charging, Chaz. 10% away. I think I've got Bob to work with on top of this. Well, actually, no, tell a lie, they have Rally. And they have Super Charge coming over as well, so actually I was just completely wrong. Florida Mayhem, however, they have 5 ults in their bank. Got to use this Transcendence. Maybe for this Flux, save the Immortality field just in case Kevster gets his blade online rather swiftly. A lot of ults being pulled there. Blongo coming out for Yaki. Oh, the front line. Goodbye. Birdring didn't even know where to look. Yaki was in front of him the entire time. A few ults used, but I praise their ultimate economy, and it's looking rather sharp coming into this next one. They got the Flux, they got the Transcendence, and the Bob as well. So, and Wender's going to come online too.
So they use 2 ultimates to win the fight, which is totally fine. You think of Nano Blade, you think of Bongo Blade, totally fine. But Los Angeles had to burn several ults as well. Like, Window came down to get them to the position to even fight, and then Rally came out. Yeah, Birdring, I think, used Bob during that fight. Birdring's going to go down. I love that Florida's just picking their spots of when to be aggressive.
At the back of their own spawn room. Taking a quick visit. Maybe they forgot some things. I think those things are ult charge, to be honest with you. Right, they're going to have to back off now, the Florida Mayhem. So it'll rock onto Gargoyle, stops his eat, but a lot of ults now for the Mayhem. Playing this corner is going to be the name of the game. Transcendence is going to be the big turner as
Gotta
well,
hold
I
it.
think.
You have to hold it for either Flux or Blade.
Yeah, I'll definitely use it now. I think it's a throw. Immortality field down now, and OG dies! Oh, this is disaster for the Gladiators.
Yeah,
OG dying here is super bad, because not only do Mayhem get a ton of ult charge here just by poking away at the Gladiators, they re-enter, but they have 40 seconds remaining. This is one fight now for the Florida Mayhem to win.
One fight, and they have Flux, they have Transcendence, they have Bob, and maybe even a Blade comes up. Yaki's been charging it rather quickly. Los Angeles, it is all about this Blade, but there's nothing to combo with it. Bob Blade is not really a thing, but it can help out to distract.
There's the Bob Flux. They're actually isolated. Spacey's on the side. He ends up going down. Yaki's in the back line. Bob does fall, but now they've lost Flux. And Florida Mayhem still have the Transcendence. They can basically wait for Kevster to do anything. But no, they're not. They're just going to go straight in. They're not scared of Kevster whatsoever. He's going to pull the blade, but he's discorded. The hole's going to be good, but Kevster is so low in the back again. Jin. A boot to the face.
Right.
And a blade from Yaki's going to seal the deal, I think. Oh, he's going to hold the doors. Gladiators don't touch the payload. And Mayhem have taken them Barney and taken a lead in the series. Match point now as 2-1 is scored.
I take it all back about Zen. That one play just changed my entire mind. And I actually like that they weren't holding on to Transcendence, because Florida has played a more offensive defense. They've waited for the moments of, we're going to win this fight now. So you think about it, Transcendence is a great counter and defense to a Blade. But what if we just use it to push on the team and kill 3 people? Then who cares what the Blade does? And then the Discord and the volley onto it as well. So, I mean, there were instances in which the Transcendence wasn't used perfectly and the sustain wasn't necessarily there from Florida, but they used it in the correct instance. And if Florida wants to be aggressive, I think running the Zen, I will go back on my words and say it's probably the right call. Also, I just saw the card on the screen that said 75% kill participation for the Zenyatta, so obviously Byron was getting it done there. What they lacked in sustain, they made up for in aggression, and I think that's exactly how you want to play that Zenyatta comp.
Yeah, it turns out Florida Mayhem pushing all that way. It was very nice for them. 3 points. They were so close to securing it, but again, it came down to the ultimate economy. The Mayhem's ultimate economy has just been so good, and I want to keep praising it, because even at the very end, I love the fact that Byron's like, well, I'm just going to click Q. Because if we find a pick or 2 here, we win. We just straight win. Because Kevster's going to have no backup. He's not going to be able to get healed. He's not going to be able to get in an immortality field to survive the oncoming damage and the stuns. And they play with pure confidence. Mayhem now, match point in the series. We're going to jump to a quick break. We'll see if they can round this out.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile.
Welcome back. Hanamura is your 4th map of this series. And Hex, hey, they're Florida Mayhem are 1 map away from locking in that 4th place. They're looking pretty good too. Their ultimate economy game is on point. Gladiators, on what was a very scrappy control to start out the series, did manage to take 1 off of the Mayhem, but it's just been up and up and up for Florida. There's not really been any slowing down whatsoever, it feels like. Havana was just a steamroll. This map, although it was pretty close, it just came down to the fact that Gargoyle and people like Yaki were able to just rotate ults just so easily and so freely, and Gladiators just couldn't get a foothold at all. It didn't feel like at any one point it was like, okay, they have these ults. They definitely got the ultimate economy advantage in this situation because they were just throwing 3 to 4 ults in at a time, and Mayhem, they were like, okay, we'll throw in 2. That's fine. We can win this fight.
Yes. A lot of times when we talk about the top teams in the league, and I'm guilty of this as anyone, I say like, oh, the top teams are always the aggressive teams or the teams that like take fights to you, but it's really more about controlling the pace of the game. And especially on Numbani, it just felt like Florida was in control of the pace. They were choosing when to fight, where to fight, what they were going to use, what they were going to force out of the other team. They just felt like they were in control, and they were deciding how the game was going to play out, and the Gladiators had to react to that. So the best teams in the league are the ones who decide how the game is going to be played, and the teams that struggle to really reach that upper echelon are the ones that are having to play reactionary. It's never really awesome in any sort of FPS game to have to react to what the enemy is doing. You want to force the other team to react, because when you have to react, you're more prone to mistakes. You're not going to make a mistake when you're like, well, I'm just going to blade in. And then you've made that choice. That's not a mistake, but the other team could end up using bad ults and doing bad things. So yeah, I think that really is the difference between the best teams in the league, and it comes across as looking like aggression of like, oh, they're going to fight them on defense, but it's about deciding when. It's about controlling the game and controlling the pacing, and Florida has done that so well today.
Yeah, it's all about breaking the upper echelons. We talked about at the start of the series the fact that Florida are like, they're 4th place. They are as a team in general, not in the standings currently, of course. They will if they do win this map, but the Philly, Paris, Shock, like 1, 2, and 3, they need to be able to break that. And if they continue to play like this, I think there's a very good opportunity for them to do that and make it to the finals, like Gargoyle was talking about earlier. Or Gangnam Jin, sorry. I
mean, I think at this point in time, like, it's really hard to predict, because last Cup we had, what is it, the Summer Showdown? We had so many upsets that it was just like bonkers. But, I mean, if you looked at the North America scene, you'd have to say, like, that should be your semifinals right there. Like, depending on brackets, those top 4 teams you have to predict would be your semifinals. But we'll see. If you're an Atlanta fan, you're rooting for the Gladiators to take 1 more map. If Florida win 3-1, they have secured their position in the top 4, not necessarily the 4 spot, because Philly could do Philly things. They're up next, so we'll see. But Florida, if they win this map, guarantee their spot in the top 4, at least the 4th seed, maybe higher. Okay.
So, yeah, Shaz didn't take the TP. I think he got damaged before going through, and then didn't want to take his every TP to the deaths. Oh my. That was, well, yep, there you go.
Well,
that's exactly it. Yeah, that's,
I think the funniest stuff we've seen today have just been single question marks.
Yeah. Oh, that is honestly the best reaction you can do in a Q game. Let's quickly actually talk about this, because Gladiators are running the comp that they performed very well on against Philly. They're running the Winston.
Well, and there's a Widow here too, which I actually really like on the offense. A lot of good spots. But again, OG goes down first to Gangnam Jin.
Just whack. Oh, that's dead.
Someone help Yaki.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yaki didn't have dash. He was like 2 seconds away.
Well, and Kevser is going to get big pack.
Yep. Oh, he's found him though. As long as you know where he is, I don't think it's too much of a problem, because Yaki can just basically pay attention to him. The literal Genji 1v1. Deathmatch. No, go back. Oh, now BQB's help. No, that's not fun, is it? And just leave Kevster and Yaki to have the 1v1. They put up a fair bit of ult charge as well.
Is that tree as big on low settings? That tree feels enormous.
I play on low almost everything apart from a 10.
Yeah, I know, but and I don't think I recognize that tree very much on Hanamura, but I always see it when I'm watching replays.
OG is on ball and he's in the back line. Okay, well, he's just feeding. He just fed 30% ult charge to Yaki. So Yaki has Blade now. Ooh, doesn't want to test Birdring. Birdring did take a body shot.
Birdring took a shot during that, yeah.
Yeah.
But so far, it's been an unremarkable push for the Gladiators, if you can even call it a push. Ball's going to roll in again with shields on him, try to put some pressure on the backline, I guess.
Well, he gets Discord orbed, mate, and like as soon as that happens, he's going to die. Like, look, but see you later. Good case in point. He just instantly dies because they have Zen. Zen is so good at dealing with a Wrecking Ball and just like any big tank that's got a large target, a large hitbox, because it's just free real estate. It's free ult charge. There's nothing you can do about the Discord orb apart from LOS it. And but by the time he goes in, right, he's dead. They've a minute and 30 Hex, and they're changing. They're changing.
He's going in like 1v6, getting discorded. Like, it doesn't matter even if they miss the stuns. And now Florida's got 6 ultimates. The Gladiators are going to get off of the ball. They're going to change tanks entirely. So now the tanks have 0 ult charge, and there's only a minute left. I don't think Space or OG are going to get ults. They're going to try to make this a Infrasight and 2 Blade, because at least you know where your targets are.
Yaki's asleep. Yaki sleeps. Kevster, Nano Blade. Oh, through the Transcendence is perfect. Slash and dash as well. Killing off the bomb and the Supercharger, mind you. BQB does end up going down. Yaki comes back with a return blade, but can he find anything else more than space? Doesn't look like it so far. Now disadvantage for the Mayhem on the point, but still, they're somehow finding kills. Fate eventually falls over, same with Gargoyle. Kevster with a Nano Blade through the Transcendence was able to kill the Supercharger. Of course, it doesn't get healed in Transcendence, but still, it's good to pick it off. But he managed to get a pick, which was important. The slash and then dash does more damage than 800 HPS can provide. They eventually crack the first point. 3 minutes and 20 seconds for the next one.
Los Angeles has 6 kills entirely on the map. They all came just right there. Very patient push. The really nice thing for Los Angeles is not only did they win that fight, they made Florida use pretty much everything that they had. So equalizing the ultimate charge banks. 3 minutes left for the Gladiators to try to push in on second point of Hanamura. OG had a decent fight there on his first life as Orisa, so we'll have Supercharger up, about the only ultimate of note except for Window for Florida Mayhem. I love this spot as Ashe. It's my favorite spot to play.
Yeah, same. Same. Apart from when you get pushed like that, which is really annoying. And then it's kind of hard to... Because you don't want to use Coach Gun, because you're like, oh, what if I need to get away? And now he has to go back to make a health pack or receive just one right click from the BAP, and he should be okay. You can use the window fairly early to stop the Gladiators from taking the high ground there, so BQB's going to have a little bit of time to gather his thoughts and get back to the high ground.
Looks like another patient push. I mean, if you're the Gladiators, maybe you just try to slow push this and get a Nano Blade again. It's really the only thing that's been working.
You might as well. Oh, shot lost. Genji. There's Kevster. Nano on him. No Blade just yet, but he's going to be able to build it up. There's 93%. Can't quite get the last Shuriken. I think he would thought that actually hit. Blade is now available when they take down Byron. But there's still a spawn advantage for Florida. They haven't got the Transcendence to match this Blade or any of the incoming ultimates from the Gladiators, and Berdering's on the high ground. He's so cautious of BQB, though. There's the Blongo. Kevster in the back line has to deal with that Immortality field. He does just that, and Fate is going to go down as well. This is a perfect Florida offense on the second point for the Gladiators. That looked like the opposite of what happened on first. They kind of just sat around almost doing nothing for, 3 minutes, and they roll over second point. So actually resulting in a 1 minute and 43 time bank. Overall, that's a really good push.
Florida just finished Hanamura, or Los Angeles just finished Hanamura with 9 total kills.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'm kind of at a loss on that one.
On Assault,
Florida was trying.
We are playing 2CP, and they finished with 9 kills, actually. It just struck me. What a world we live in.
Yeah, the 6 came on first point, and then 3 on second. Florida was playing very passively. I think they were waiting to try to get some ultimates up. Flux was about to come up, but Los Angeles just took it right to them. And 9 kills to win an Assault match.
Yeah. Imagine not killing 57 people on second point to actually cap 33%. Like, that is a ridiculous feat. I want to know. I don't know if I'm putting a little bit more workload on Ben here, but Ben, just you don't have to do it. But I'm curious if that is the lowest amount of kills to win an Assault map, or like not win an Assault map, but win the
finish it. Yeah.
Finish the Assault map. Yeah, I'm curious if that's the lowest amount of kills ever recorded to finish, because that is absurd.
That's a little bit strange. I have to go back and look at that one, but it just means Florida never came out and really fought, and the 2 tanks they put up there got eliminated very quickly. That was kills 8 and 9, and we'll see if the Florida offense can match it, but that's a very solid Hanamura for the Los Angeles Gladiators, trying to even this series up. I mean, the first point looks so terrible until they got like a Miracle Blade, and then to just do that on the offense, it's like they stole off Florida's mojo.
Speaking about stealing mojo, Birdring ain't got any of it left. That's a nice little deflect by Yaki there. I think Shaz almost accidentally killed himself. Kill on to Big Goose too. Oh, he did just there. Shot straight into the deflect. Goodbye Shaz, goodbye OG and Big Goose, who were just next to the side. And yeah, the rest of the team are just resetting. Oh dear, that kind of sucks. Big Goose going down early too just means Shaz can't really heal himself. That was a fast push on point A. That's going to be a cap. Gladiators now defending point B.
I just have a big single question mark for this map. Like, I understand Mei strategically on Hanamura. I get it, right? She's really good on first, can be really good on second, walling off stairs, everything like that. But Kevster's been your best player, like, pretty easily in the last couple of maps, and he's the reason you're winning fights. To take him off of the impact play that is Genji, I don't know. But obviously this is something they practiced. It's not strange to see Mei on Hanamura at all. Strategically makes sense.
Wait.
I just think that Kevster's been carrying.
Wait, what was Space doing there? I guess obviously he was protecting. Oh, he's gonna fall the play. Are you kidding me, Yaki?
Why not?
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, why not? But that looks so BM. BQB does end up dying to Kevster. Yaki's in the back line, dueling out in the 1v1, manages to find the kill, but Kevster finds him in the end.
Do they get a tick?
Florida Mayhem do plant themselves on the point, but no, they haven't actually got a tick just yet. They managed to corral around it and push off Fate. And this should be a one fight realistically, although Kevster didn't expect that window to come out so soon, and OG taking a fair bit of damage too. Gargo gets halted off the map, but now he spots Big Goose on the sidelines in the Mega Health Pack, and now Gargo can go in with one rock. He generates his ult, and now all they have to do is just kill off Space. He gets lifted up into the sky, instantly dies. Shaz dead, Big Goose dead, Kevster gone, Blizzard out, 1 tick done. And BQB gets taken out by Birdring. That's 2 kills, but there's still 2 tanks on the point. I mean, you are not going to be able to assault this, really. OG's going to be able, Space Even's going to be able to get back on the ball. The rally's going to have to be their saving grace at this point. OG switching over to 15 different heroes before he actually gets back out in time as Kevster dies on the Tracer. As long as Gangnam Jim stays alive here, they should be good. Window available. He's not going to use it for damage, though. He's just using it for style. Even the Bob is going to come in as well. This should be point B locked up. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to Gladiators 143.
You know what's funny is I think during like our between matches I was talking to you about like, or no, it was after Control. I was like, man, Control's been so hard to cast lately. It's all over the place. I'm like, but Hanamura I feel like I have a really good handle on. Like Hanamura, like I kind of understand the strategy, and it's been really easy to cast the last couple of days. And then I get this, and then this happens to me. Oh, it just throws off all of my assumptions away. I mean, just absolutely rolling in. Yaki goes for it, and that was a long, protracted push. It was never really a reset. Florida got in a couple of times and were able to sustain really strong onto the point, camping those spawns as well. The Blizzard came out, and it almost got canceled. That's how quick Mei died. She got killed right after the Blizzard landed, and it did absolutely nothing. Gladiators try to stall it out, but as it stands, 1:43 in the Gladiators' offensive clock, 4:11 for the Florida Mayhem. And given the Gladiators' very first offensive push, I don't know if 1:43 is going to be enough time. It took them about 3 minutes to really get going.
Yeah, while that is true, I think because they found the comp that they eventually ended up wanting to run, you'd think they'd just run without the gate now. Rather than trying the Winston, then trying the Wrecking Ball, they're just going to go, okay, we're going to go double shield. We're not going to try that again. It didn't work. We're not going to waste as much time as we did before. Yep, there you go.
No Ana for the Gladiators though, so no Nano Blade.
Fireman's still on the Zen. I love the Zen. Hello. Hello, Genji. Hello.
I'm happy to hear him say hello as long as it's not Ani feeling or Mata Mata.
Whoa! Yaki ain't saying anything anymore, he's dead. Oh, but so is Birdring. He takes a headshot. Big Goose did manage to find the whip shot kill, but he's got a spawn advantage now, so yeah, they can push in. Yaki's actually moving over to Tracer to get back to the point in time. Nice bit of space created by Mr. Space. He makes it to the point 2. Now it's all about just making sure the rest of his team can make it as well. Nice little deflect kill by Kevster. Yeah, goodbye BQB. Takes a little bit too much damage, has to grab the mini. He gets back onto the point. Birdwing was seemingly waiting for Yaki there to come back on the Tracer. Headshots him. And that's first point done and dusted.
Oh, this is terrible. Yep, that's the right choice, actually. Don't even try to make that jump. He was just going to get farmed by Kevster.
Yeah.
And actually, that would have gotten Kevster to a blade, although passively, even though he should get there now at 93%. Pushing in, Kevster has been doing work, which is why I did not like the May pick. You can run Genji on defense. You can run Genji anywhere. It's a Genji world. We're just living in it. And it's going to be blade time, ready to go. Shaz can actually put down a window up top, too.
Oh, Immortality Field used, though. Oh, Byram! Oh, Zenyatta life without a Transcendence. Gargoyle is going to go down as well. Now they plant themselves on the point and shove Mayhem all the way into their spawn. The 1v1 was disrupted, but Gangnam Jim already won it. Even the rally on top as well. They're going to finish with time too. I think they are. 29 seconds left for the Gladiators. That was a quick completion of Hanamura. Well, you know what? Hey, do you want to go to another 6-6? Well, we saw it on Voskaya the other day. My brain was melting. Or 6-5, sorry, it did end. I called 6-6 on Twitter because I thought they were going to make it, and then they somehow threw it. But that
gotta hold on to those tweets until,
the
actual thing comes through.
So
Kevster's Genji has just been the giant difference maker here. Like every fight they win, it has been Kevster absolutely going nuts. The fights they lost, it's him on May, and it just does not have the utility and carry potential right now. Kevster didn't get his entire
Mayhem just want to win this right here, right now. They want to lock in that 4th seed. If they win this 3-1 in the series, done and dusted. 4th seed guaranteed. What plays this? Oh, it's Kevster at the back. Yeah. Good night, Sweet Prince. Good night, Gargoyle.
I mean, I'd have to double check the production, but I think if Florida loses this map, even if they win the series, then I think Atlanta has 4. There's a lot of complicated math. That's why I outsource it to other people.
It's top 4 positioning, not necessarily 4th seed, so guaranteed at least 4th. So.
No, but where's Atlanta sit in this? If Florida loses this map,
we've discussed this before.
I think if Florida loses this map, Atlanta might overtake them in that 4 spot. We'll see. Anyway, that's for people to tell us after the end of this map.
Yep.
They may not lose it. I mean, they have 4 minutes on the offense.
Math hard, brain small. Please go easy on me. Okay, still running the Zenyatta for Byram. So BQB managed to pick off Birdwing fairly early on last time around. They're going to hold high ground once again. That Dynamite could have done a fair bit of damage and punished them a fair bit. No, Yaki actually this time gets punished. I think he was hoping that Dynamite to land and then him pick up a kill and dash away again. Got a lot of time though, mind you. To Florida, so another reset here is not going to be too punishing for them.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because BQB was going to hit a really nice Dynamite, but he got halted away, so his crosshairs ended up missing the Dynamite.
It's pretty nice. I mean, ideally that's what you want. Just put pressure, as much pressure as you can on the top left, because they haven't got the consistent healing. Of course, you can see the little X-ray through the wall. It's only 2 of them with no healers to spare. Yaki does the same thing again. I mean, he dashes straight in. That Dynamite's going to force space away and force him to get that mega health back. Yaki's still farming Blade at a decent pace as well, in line with Kevster currently, but they've managed to force themselves into the middle of the point now. With window available too, and yeah, the Glads are completely spit. A nice little Hulk, a nice rock, a shield, and the Brigitte shield is going to save them for the time being, but Kevster's now extremely low, and space ends up going down, and now the resets can reign true for Yaki. Oh, dearie me, yeah. This is point A going over to the Florida Mayhem. Quick resets, though, and a Bob available, as well as that window for the Gladiators.
Well, Flux and Blade are going to be the order of the day for Florida to try to get in here as quickly as humanly possible. Birdwing should respawn, although he'll not be in the ideal Ashe position, very likely, in the top right. So we'll see where he wants to set up. He can always go top center, always fine. You can see Widow's there a lot. And the big thing for Birdwing is just to make sure your Bob doesn't leave the point. There's a couple of pillars you can aim at that will just sit on the point and kill anyone there. But the Blade is what it's all about.
High ground first. Oh, Kevster is burning currently on that Dynamite. Maybe they wait for Supercharge at 2 because they have 2 minutes and 25. That window being used early as well makes sense. They would back off because Fate is only 20% away, so I can imagine they just save it here if they just kind of duel out on the high ground first and then just let Yaki loose, basically.
They could also be saving for...
I take it back. They're just going to go in. The blade from Kevster as well is going to match him. Oh, Kevster's got the better blade, the sharper one this time around. He does take out Immortality Field, though. Oh, Birdring to the back. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, you are very dead. Oh, my God. Birdring's Bob got 3 kills. They all backed up into it as well. What a flank from Birdring with Bob doing the work.
The really tough part for Florida there is that they ended up burning Transcendence, which you would have liked to be able to hold. Byram just got there during that fight. It was unable to save his team. Florida, though, still 90 seconds remain. Let's watch Bob.
Look at him
Bob
go!
doing something.
He's got aimbot. Ban him. Good job.
Well, it also helps when the other 5 players are pushing the opposing team into Bob.
God, yeah.
A little helpful.
He's actually just a brick wall of solid handsomeness. 1 minute.
Last good push here for Florida.
Yeah,
Bob with their own, both tank ultimates. And then Gangnam Jin can hang out high ground and drop a window here. There it is.
Oh, that pull is so good. That Immortality Field, luckily enough, saving him. Now Bob on the point for pressure. Will Bob be able to claim a free tick? He's actually on there with Fate. Yeah, free tick for Fate. Supercharge is going to go down as well for both teams, and Birdring ends up going down. Nice little flank here from Yaki to try and pay attention to Space, who's currently discorded and in a very sore situation. He can't help the rest of his team whatsoever. He's having the duel, but Yaki can just dash through the shield. This is going to be it. Mayhem finish. Okay, 6-6 soon. Ladies and gentlemen, strap in. We're going 10-10, maybe 12-12, maybe 18-18. We'll have to wait and find out, because right now they both have 1 minute, 9 seconds extra for the Mayhem, though. They do finish ever so slightly quicker.
Who has got the guts to go Symmetra here? I mean, Symmetra sometimes just gets you a free tick. It might be enough to win a map.
We have a Nabani.
We've seen the strat. The strat works. Yeah, we've seen the strat work. With only 1 minute left, you have to anticipate that you're not going to get many ults online. You can very well get a Genji ultimate online. In the ways that these Batistes have been playing, very likely get a window. But Gladiators, for the moment, queued up on a sim.
I mean,
And that might just be an initial teleport, not to the point, but just out a little faster. And then Birdring goes to like a Tracer or a Widow.
Yeah, maybe. I would like to see the TP 2 points, but let's see how
2
they
point or
actually
two
manage.
two
high
platform
ground.
on the stairs is really good, but
Yeah,
a lot of times you want to run a Mei with it too, just to get that super area control. So this might just be an initial faster rollout TP.
No, it's not. No, they're actually
Alright.
okay. They're sticking
Good.
with the Symmetra. It's good. Hex approves.
I've been enjoying watching sim strats lately.
Straight to point. The shield's going to protect you. All the turrets are now set up. Lazy people
Free tick.
So Birdring now to just burn shields. BQB ends up going down to Big Goose. Big Goose is kind of popping off in terms of getting DPS recently. Uh-oh. Oh no, here's the beam. Oh, the beam. They're getting microwave. Someone killed Big Goose though. He's keeping everybody alive. Oh, Space and OG end up getting the kills. And that'll be it. More than a free tick, they get a free point entirely with a few seconds to spare. About 45 in the bank going into the next point. Not so bad whatsoever. And they can do it again. Birdring's probably just going to... Kev's not Bastion.
Yes.
The Kev
Yes.
Sebastian. The Kev Sebastian. The legendary Kev Sebastian. Oh,
teleport him up to that, like, you can-
Kevster in queue with Bastion, you lose. Just quit. You might as well just lose the extra 25 SR to 50. Just get out of the game. It's too good. TP forward, or TP onto high ground, to be fair.
Yeah, were they going to tell you? I mean, you
No.
think like top left?
The Junkrat!
Oh, right
The
out of
Junkrat's
points.
going to stop the shield! The teleporter even! Now, he's alone! OG's completely alone, and Kevster ends up going down to Yucky. What a perfect switch from BQB to stop the teleporter strat, to boop everybody away, or just kill the TP in general. Yaki unleashes the blade, finds 1, 2, and a 3rd kill onto Birdring in the end. The Gladiators, however, have secured the first point. They still get an extra point here, so it's all on Mayhem to guarantee themselves a minimum of a draw by getting this first point.
Chess has been very popular lately on streams, and I think we're watching the Overwatch chess right now. The switches, the strats that have come in, and this almost always happens when you get these really long, drawn-out assault maps of like, gotta do something, let's cheese it up. I liked the idea of trying to teleport a Bastion. It used to be a viable strat on Hanamura, actually. You just teleport him up to the high ground, that Ashe spot we were looking at earlier. But a really good counter play to just make sure that no one can get to the points, and then you just leave the tank isolated. The Junkrat switch from BQB, big brain. The Gladiators are going a Mei again, which, again, in theory, really good on defense. Makes perfect sense on this map. Kevster's Genji is almost too good to get off of, in my opinion, but they disagree.
Yeah,
I mean if you can just wall off, like, yeah, if you could wall off one person here, though, like, it's kind of a one fight, so I get it. It just didn't work out very well for them on their first defensive go-around.
Pop people on the high ground too. They're also going to send, you see where the healers are positioned here. Wait, hang on a second. Let's
Go for the fire strike.
25 ult charge there, not bad. They're actually, the healer's positioning here is a lot better than it was before, I feel, just because Shaz is actually now with Space. I think the problem was before that Space was getting too chunked out and had to play rather passive because the healers weren't on top of him. And the most efficient healing from that distance is the repair pack, because the right clicks can be sometimes fairly awkward to hit unless you hit them directly in the body. When they're on high ground, of course.
Using the rock to get a little bit of... That's a cutoff.
They've got a lot of damage, though. Like, the pillars aren't what they used to be. Plus, tanks can now fit through one pillar as soon as it's been destroyed. So, the Mei in general has been nerfed just a little bit. They found Kevster on the side. Another wall's going to be available in a couple of seconds. There it is. But Shaz is actually already dead. What? Yaki's in the backline as well. OG also falls. This is surely first points now for the Mayhem as they do walk towards it.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, they got 3 kills, should be on the way in, and now you just have to wonder if they're going to reset. Nope.
I mean, yeah, I don't...
Mei and Sigma are in a weird spot here. You know what? I would just leave them alive. I would leave them alive and try to run past them.
I would 100% leave the Mei alive. Oh, okay, no, they eventually just feed themselves.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, yeah.
That would have been fun.
That would have been fun, just leave them behind. I mean,
yeah. I
have definitely done that before. On Hanamura specifically, we've left one person alive because they were on mega health packs, they would get a mega, and then we were like, oh, well, we just run
just
leave.
the
Other point.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need a Lucio for that situation to work perfectly, but... All right, 12 seconds, 33%.
They've guaranteed themselves a draw as well on this map as well, so keep that in mind. There's the wall. Oh, can someone get... Yes, Ganonjin can make it to the point. He uses his Exo Boost to get there. Yaki's going to be there as well. OG with the Shatter. Oh, he's blocking off. Oh, Byram, he's going to get saved. He got saved by Fate. That was a solo Shatter onto Byram, but he gets saved, and now we're using the Transcendence to push everybody forwards. Yaki used the Blade, but it gets instantly taken care of, but it doesn't matter because the utility usage from the Mayhem was just too good. They end up pushing forwards. They're going to use Supercharger and the Flux available for them as well. Florida Mayhem running onto the second point. They only need 1 tick, and they do just that. 3-1 in the series. That was one of the most entertaining Hanamuras I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. And now Florida also guarantee themselves a top 4 finishing too.
Yeah, absolutely. They cannot go any lower than 4. Atlanta fans devastated as Florida able to clutch out. I completely agree. As far as Hanamuras go, that was ridiculous. The last couple of days have been treating us to some beautiful assault maps to watch in Volskaya, now this Hanamura, and just what intense small plays towards the end. The solo shatter, the accretion, and then Byram's still alive, and you can't overstate how impactful that Discord orb is at the end. So he's got it on the Sigma, and the Sigma goes down. And then also, when you're in a Zen in that spot, in that middle distance, whether it's Volskaya or Hanamura, oh, it's just beautiful. You're just sitting back, no one's shooting at you, you're just cleanup duty. What a wonderful series. The Gladiators looked better than I thought they would. I mean, this was a 3-1 series, but it was close at some points in time. A couple maps kind of one-sided. Havana was a little bit weird, but Los Angeles Gladiators are going to drop to 7-9. Florida Mayhem will move on to 14-6. All that is for naught as the qualifiers matter. Florida definitely in that top 4. Wow, what a series. That actually blew me away. That Hanamura, just as I was thinking I figured out Hanamura and I had a grasp on strategies, like that one just kind of threw me for a loop.
Well, your Xfinity player of the match is going to be Gangnam Jin. Oh, his his PAP has been pretty good. And keeping a Zen alive, especially in this meta, is sometimes pretty tough. So his ability to do just that and make sure Byram can succeed. I did think Zen was going to come back at some point, but it is extremely hard to actually play it because Zen very fragile, very immobile. But if you have a support like Gangnam Jin with you, I would play the Zen any day of the week. Gangnam Jin was actually my rookie of the year as well, coming into this season. He has looked spectacular, and I think his Batista is something to behold. This entire Florida Mayhem roster is just ridiculous. I think there's a few people you definitely could have given it to in this series.
At the beginning of the year, in like week 4 and 5, we're like, well, Florida is going to rise and fall based on Gargoyle and Gangnam Jin. Now, of course, several other people for Florida have really risen to the occasion and leveled up, but when we saw the Florida Mayhem roster early in the year, they weren't as dominant, you know, where a lot of those 6 losses come from, you know, from weeks 1 through like 10. They were, it was always obvious that their flex support and their flex tank were going to be very carryable heroes, and now everyone else has stepped up. Florida, you know, they have a line on getting to the semifinals, and we'll see what can happen after that. Some great performances, but you can't say enough about Gangnam Jin. I kind of was suspicious of the Zen ultimate or the Zen pick because teams were brawling out so much, and Brigida's so useful in those brawl comps, but Byram made me pay for it in large part because Gangnam Jin kept him alive a lot of the time. So it was a good look from Florida. What a hell of a series. That was fun.
Even at the very end, it was the get down, Mr. President. The fact
That's
that
right.
OG with the solo shatter, and then they managed to kill him, and then Byram is that transcendence, and they win the fight. There you go. There is your current leaderboard. We have Shock, Eternal, and Fusion at the top, and the Mayhem 3-1. +5 map differential as well. There is currently, calculations go, there is currently 1 more top 4 position remaining. So that's all to fight for. There's another couple of games happening a little bit later, after this basically,
Like
with Mitch
soon.
and Matt. So make sure you stick around.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, what, Philadelphia versus the Valiant, so Philly could fall in the standings?
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia, although... will they fall? We'll have to wait and find out. They look almost immortal recently. That last 4th place match, that is going to be on the line in the next couple of series. We're going to jump to a quick break, though. We got those games coming up on Mitch and Matt. We'll see you in a bit.